Okay, so yesterday, how I was just talking about like the time machine, and I kind of just skimmed on it a little bit, that topic. Well, regulators, mount up. But no, seriously. So look, so off of the just the topic of a time machine, it got me thinking about a vehicle because I remember like the part in the Bible where it says like Enoch was taken away in a chariot of fire. And I'll kid you not, I really never dove into the word chariot before. Um, like like years ago, I looked this up. I think I started reading the book of Enoch like 2011, 2010, somewhere around that time. But anyway, so I was playing Grand Theft Auto GTA, and you know how like the little NPCs be talking in the background. I was doing one of the taxi missions, right? And he was like, "Hey man, stop that chariot of fire." I said, "What did he just say?" And then he got in the car, and I was like, "Hmm." And then I put them like, "Why would he call this taxi a chariot of fire?" Because I thought Enoch took away like across the sky in a chariot of fire, right? So then I looked it up. So it's like a chariot. It's just like any fire moving vehicle, like. So I'm just like, huh. Boom, open me up. So again, so with the time machine, I started thinking about a wheel. It made me, I don't know why, but I started thinking about a vehicle and just the wheel of a vehicle. So I wrote out the word wheel, WHEEL, and then again, the other word that sounds like it, will, WILL. So I'm like, okay, they're on the same frequency, but they have different vibrations. So I'm like, what's the relation between the two? So of course, I always start with numbers or added up their numeric values, in which will comes up to 26. And if you reduce it to its lowest term, it's the number 8. And then the other will, WILL, that adds up to the number 20. Reduce it to its lowest term, that's the number 2. So I'm like, okay. And then going back to the first will, uh, I'm like, okay, it's circular. So, okay, 360 degrees for a circle. And then also it breaks down to 8 parts that equal, because it equals 8. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, that's just now the workings of my inner mind now. Then I'm going to like pi and things like that, right? Boom. So then the wheel of a vehicle, it just removes a vehicle. And then the other wheel is like desire, if like a flow, and it moves your mind or your heart. It's like that desire. And then they both relates to a cycle. And what a cycle is related to the number 9, just means like a completion, the end of a cycle, a new beginning. So then boom. With that in mind, money came to my head because now I'm still thinking about will and will, like a willpower and then willpower, right? So then, because I'm just stuck somehow on the movement of the mind for some odd reason. So it's got me thinking about, first of all, I'll just say I started with, let's see, because I stopped with the flow and the desire because I'm just like the flow. Flow goes with everything. It's part of this cycle. It's flow. And notice like sometimes like when you force the flow, it causes like a constriction. When you let things happen naturally, it just happens. It just is. Right? So then I was thinking like a current in the ocean or like a river, pond, whatever, just like a current. And then currency. So I'm like, okay, current, currency, they both have to do with flow. And then money came into mind. Money, flow, currency. So money is a currency, and then which makes it energy, right? So money is energy. So then with that in my mind, that scripture came to my head. Many will come in my name. And then that just always got to me. It's like, oh, his name is 666. So I'm just like, okay, but okay, right? So then the many will come to my name. And this is what I drew out here, just to show you a dollar bill, right? See what that says? Mark of the beast, right? So the many that come in my name, start thinking about your denominations now. You have a $1 bill, $2, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, 1,000. I'm not sure if they still make the 10,000s. I forget who used to be on it, like Ulysses. I don't remember, but they used to make them all up. The numbers, the currencies, the denominations, but you notice like each bill have a different face on it. So then I start asking myself why. You know, of all the people, and these are like all past, you know, people and technology and things are always changing. How's come that never changed, right? And then it started making me thinking about the cents now. The quarter, the penny, the dime, the nickel, those are all pieces and parts of a dollar. And then depending on how much you have, that adds up to a dollar. If not, it's just a fraction of, right? So then, currency, money, many will come in my name, right? Boom. Where am I at? Oh yeah, and then how it says like, you know, money is the root to all evil too, right? And then how you're supposed to take with your right and give with your left. Like those have so many layers to that, even just that. So I'll just say like, if you read like even like from the Bible, I can't think of the scripture off the top of my head, but I know it was like the story of the king. The people came, they brought gold, and it weighed like 666 pounds. Like that in that scripture too, with intuition and wisdom, tells you that they were talking about money, right? And so you're thinking about like, how could money be the mark of the beast? We all use money. Absolutely correct. We do use money, but it becomes a beast, a monster, when it starts to alter your mind and it alters your heart to where this world currency is love. Authenticity is the highest form of currency that you can ever reach in this world, the next world, or any life, this life, past life. Is authenticity, right? Authenticity is a form of love. It is love. And like, it's just so much to that. So if this world's currency was love, how did it go over to the US dollar, right? And then going back to his name is 666. Wisdom will tell you that's man. 6 electrons, 6 protons, 6 neutrons, all equal carbon. Man. And it don't matter, like Michael Jackson said, it don't matter if you're black or white, because we all have carbon, even if it's short or not, right? We are all carbon beings. We all have carbon, whether your melanin shows on the outside or whether it just shows on the inside. We're carbon beings. That's 666, right? Boom. So where are we going now with this? So anyway, so I just wanted to show you that, and then how the many came in the name of energy, right? So then it's got me thinking, like I said, like how did the Earth's currency get changed? And then you start thinking about, again, the New World Order, right? The New World Order, let's see, flip my page. Okay, so all of that was pretty much just like an alteration of the mind, the heart, and the throat, and the ether. It's the spirit, right? So they altered the mind with religion and gave you Christianity. They stole. That's the thief. Well, they're all thieves and liars, but boom, boom, boom. And then they alter your heart, right? They took your heart from a love flow, a natural love flow, and gave you money to replace that with desire and want. With the US dollar, the beast. And then they altered the throat. They changed the language and made it to where we all had to speak on one little frequency, the English language, right? There's the liar. And then they altered the ether, which gave us time, or changed time, altered time, and then in turn, it altered the weather and then changed the seasons. Like there wasn't a reason for seasons. It just was. Think about like the most beautiful tropical place. Like there was no need for like to store food and to do all of that because everything just was. But after the alterations, because they wanted to gain control, And then, because you know, the natural flow of things is, according to this world, the natural flow, 0 will be the most powerful number. It's, like I said, it's everything. 0 consists of everything. Everything came from 0. Everything had to take a portion of 0 to make itself what it is, right? So numbers only went 0 through 9. So what changed was after all these authorizations became the number 10. Now think about it. 10. Because after it was like, after you add up 0 through 9, anything that you add up, 11 through 1,000, a million, whatever numbers you add up, they all will be reduced between 1 through 9. 11 will give you 2, 12 will give you 3, 13 will give you 4, 44 will give you 8, 99. What is that? 18 will give you 9. My bad, my mind's just jumping everywhere. But I'm just showing you. So now they changed the natural order changed from 0 to 9 to make it to last. It's like I can't wrap my mind around what I'm trying to say with that, so I'm just going to leave that one be. So it gave you the number 10, put in 1 in front of 0 instead of 0 being in front of 1, if that makes sense. I'm trying my best, guys. And then so in turn, with all of these things created, now you have Christianity, the US dollar, English, the change of the weather, and then change of time. This created a grid. And when I say grid, think of it like a net, like a trap, like a grid, right? A trap. It created like an inner net to keep us where they want us to be. Like not going off of this planet, like not through our mind, not physically, like they want to keep us here because we're also an energy source for them, right? So now, the internet is what it's like. It created this web. And think about it, internet. And when you're using like your internet, like say like if you're on your phone or you're using your keyboard, what's the main control key on there? Enter. But there is just so much, and like that just came from like the time machine. And then another thing, while we're talking about the internet, think of, all right, my bad. Ran out of storage again while I was recording, so my video shut off. But lost my train of thought. But what I was gonna say, also too, that in reference like to the time machine, it had me thinking like, you know, you have to use part of consciousness as well. Well, a lot of consciousness. And then I was like, you know, how I know like everything that happens in the spiritual or the 5D, 4, 9, whatever, however far you want to go, but whatever happens in the spiritual realm, it happens there first and then it happens here. It manifests here. So then I was like, what is the manifestation for consciousness here that we can see? I know that like the trees and nature, that's a part of consciousness as well, but I'm like, there has to be more. Plain as day. States. Because what is consciousness? And if you really think of consciousness, it's just a state of, right? A state of being, a state of, right? So then I was just like, okay, so we have 51 states, supposedly, but 51 states, right? So the 51 states will represent 51 states of consciousness. Follow me now. And then so each state is separated by cities, right? Cities are, okay, I'll just read what I wrote. Cities are just limits to contain a perimeter. Each state has a governor and each city has a mayor, each represented by seals, symbols, seals, animals, and symbols. And then I wrote like the hierarchy, like you got the citizens, police chief, mayor, government, president. And that's how I got here back to the money, following like the states of consciousness for the beast on the bill or the cents. And then think of it too, my video keeps stopping. Somebody don't want me to post this. But anyway, so think about it too. Each state is only permitted to hold so much power. And each state, or think of it like what the scripture, each beast gave up his, each something gave up their power to the beast, right? Each state power goes where? To the president, right? I knew I should have paid more attention in my government econ class, but I still remember, like, the checks and the balances. I still remember some stuff, and it all has to play out. So that's what I'm just going to work on. And it's just all connected and interconnected.